I would like to do is expand this out to
Oh, good.
the four albums that were recorded in 2025, which to me, typically musicians might release one every year or a couple years, but that's quite a level of volume that's come out, and it's trios and four acts. So let's get into what was the idea. That's a lot of material in one year. What was the whole overriding notion?
Yeah, well, there were a lot of factors that contributed to me not releasing a recording for a few years, including the pandemic, including a big and meaningful involvement in writing and seeing to fruition my jazz opera, Dear Eric. So over the course of a few years, I had a lot of material that was ready to be put down in a more formal way in a recording studio. And as we can tell and discuss, I think a lot about programs and programmatically. And the four albums really fell into four categories that are pretty representative of my musical life. So the first one was called High Standards, and I have a great love for the Great American Songbook, but also really look for ways to perform and express these songs in a personal way. I look for arranging ideas and others that make it my own. The second CD is called the Ted Rosenthal Songbook, and that, almost by definition, is my original compositions, which I do a lot of as well as a composer, and four of the pieces from my jazz opera Dear Eric. And the third one, called Classics Reimagined, represents another big part of my musical life, which is having lived in or studied and appreciated and lived in the world also of classical piano. I always look for connections to bring the music together and find ways to reimagine some of that music into our world of jazz. And then the fourth one is reflective of just sort of this love of jazz piano in all its forms and history. So the good old days harkens back to some stride, ragtime, swing, and is representative of that aspect of my musical life. So I had material that was ready to go
Yeah.
and kind of fit neatly into these four programs, and here we are.
So, how are you approaching performing this live? When you go out and you're giving it to the folks, do you pick a certain album? Do you mix it all up? How are you approaching that right now?
Joe, that's a great question because uh, I just did a weekend at a wonderful little club in the village called Mesro, and it's happened to me a few times where I'm struck where I wonder if the audience is a little, there's a monk tune, and then there's a ragtime tune, and then there's a Chopin as a samba. But I try to make each piece, stand on its own as far as musical integrity and excellence. I've been mixing it up. I've been doing sort of a sampler of all four lately, but sometimes obviously I would do a program with a through line of any one of those. But usually I include some of my original compositions, no matter when I'm playing, and I love to play the songbook. So each program is different, but I like to be open to trying many different styles within it.
Talk to me about the players in the trio. How did you land on them? How did it feel kind of to put all this together with them?
Well, I've had a long relationship with both trios, and sometimes we mix and match. But Martin Wind and Tim Horner, we've played together for more than 10 years in various situations, including mostly my trio, but also with vocalist Ann Hampton Calloway and other situations. And then Noriko Ueda and and Quincy Davis, excuse me. We've played together an awful lot too. We've been to Japan over 10 times together, so we have a lot of wonderful experiences touring touring over there and doing many other things in the U.S. together. So I've got a good history, musically and personally, with both groups, and they know this music quite well, and we're happy to see it, come to fruition in the recording studio.
So, in this quartet of albums, those that are fans of yours that are picking up all of these albums, what are you ultimately hoping they get from this wide swath of all of these different interests that you have and the way that you've presented it artistically? What do you want them to get?
I would like them to get the idea that good music is good music, that the source can be a Ted Rosenthal piece, it could be a Cole Porter piece, it could be a Chopin melody, and that I think in this day and age it is actually more accepted and common that we embrace a wider range of musical expression and styles. And I see that with my students too, that they are open to not just playing the latest thing that they've heard, but they come up to me and want to play some stride piano too and explore that. So I'd like people to just be open to the what I think is one of the greatest things in the world is the jazz piano trio,
Yeah.
and all the sounds and range that it has, and then for them to get moved by the music itself, and then the various musical styles we go between.
So these albums are in the proverbial rearview mirror. It was a voluminous year. What are you doing now? What are you looking for? Are you going to take a break? And how does that work for your vision for material coming up?
Well, I'm continuing to pursue performances of the opera, which we have some good irons on the fire, both as full productions and also concert versions, and that's always extremely meaningful for me to be involved with that. I'm thinking seriously in the next, actually, pretty soon. I'm thinking of going to the studio and recording a solo album.
Okay.
And it's funny because, I think having been out here now for a while, one of the things that intrigues me is the relationship of what our creative ideas are and motivations are versus sometimes what happens in the world, like someone commissions you to write something, and that and of course that happened throughout history where some of the great classical pieces got written because some count or countess commissioned the composer. So just by chance, I was well, maybe not by chance, but in the course of a conversation with Gary Walker, the wonderful DJ and programmer at WBGO, he said to me, "Hey Ted, when are you going to make another solo album?" And that just stuck in my head, and now I'm in the process of working that through in my mind and at the piano, and that's probably the next recording project that will come out.
Live shows, it's the warm months are upon us. If anybody wants to catch you live, where can they find out? The itinerary, what's going on?
Yeah, I've got a lot going on. Some nice gigs lined up for the release of The Good Old Days, the fourth CD. Just finished a weekend at Mesro, as I mentioned. Memorial Day weekend, I'm at a great club in Westchester County, New York, called the Jazz Forum, which is their main jazz club, and we'll be there Friday and Saturday. It's the trio plus the great trumpeter Terrell Stafford, who will be playing with us, and we'll be playing largely the music from the good old days, but from all four CDs. Then as we get into the summer months, I'm very excited that I've gotten nicely involved with the Tanglewood Music Festival up in the Berkshires in western Massachusetts, and they of course are known for many, many years, mostly for their association with the Boston Symphony and classical music, but they are doing more jazz. I like to think that it's partially due to my pushing for it. So last year we did a wonderful concert called the Trumpet Summit And this year we're doing a concert at Ozawa Hall calling tribute to Miles and Train for the 100th birthday that I'm sure you've been hearing about.
Yeah.
So that'll be July 26th at Tanglewood at Ozawa Hall. So there's a few more events I'm doing up there this summer, but that's the main one.
Okay, so tedrosenthal.com, if anybody wants to get a copy of it. Spinny Media is where it's going through, and of course it's streaming everywhere, correct?
Correct. It's on all the streaming platforms, and if you want a physical copy, you can get it from Spinny Media, which also supplies to places like Amazon, too, if you're more used to doing your shopping there.
Right on. Well, I will put all these links in the show notes. So great to catch up with you again, Ted. Thank you so much. I look forward to the next album, and we'll catch up down the line.
Okay, Joe. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Great talking to you.
Neon Jazz.